A struggling African woman quietly steps forward and pays for a stranger's train ticket. She has no idea who he is. No clue that he's actually an Arab executive worth millions. And what he did afterward. It didn't just surprise her. It left the whole city speechless. People couldn't believe it. She had only a few coins left in her worn-out purse, just barely enough for her to maybe catch a ride home. Maybe get a small meal later if she skipped lunch. The station around her. Noisy. People rushing everywhere with impatience boiling in the air. No one noticed the man standing at the self-service machine. Frustrated, flustered. His card being declined again and again. Some stared. Others scoffed and walked away, muttering things under their breath like he was just wasting their time. But she didn't walk past. She didn't mock. She stepped up. With quiet dignity, she handed him a few small bills, folded and worn, and said, "Here, take it. You need it more than I do." She didn't even ask his name. Didn't care where he was headed. Didn't know he was one of the most powerful Arab businessmen in the entire Middle East, traveling undercover, trying to test the kindness of strangers in a world growing colder by the day. What he did next brought a city to its knees, and millions to tears. But before we dive deeper into this incredible story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We share real, powerful human stories like this one, and your support helps us keep them coming your way. The station was alive with movement. Bags being dragged, loud announcements echoing through the halls, people shouting into their phones, moving like they were all running out of time. And among that chaos stood Nia, just 26, from a small town called Senegal, holding a little cloth bag tight to her chest, fingers trembling as she counted the few coins in her hand. She had just enough for one train ride, one way, to get to the city center, where a friend had promised her a lead on a part-time cleaning job. She hadn't eaten all day. Again. Rent. Overdue. Her sandals. Falling apart. But her spirit. Still intact. Still proud. Still standing. Always holding on to hope. Just 3 months earlier, she had arrived in the city with nothing. Nothing but a dream and the clothes on her back. Since then, she had cleaned houses, washed endless dishes, cared for other people's children. All for just enough to survive one more week. Life had been cruel, but she had seen worse. Back home, she had been raised to believe that kindness matters, even when you barely have anything to give. Especially then. So when she saw that man, standing at the kiosk, confused, desperate and struggling, she didn't think twice. He was tall, wearing a gray hoodie pulled low over his face, jeans slightly too nice for someone down on his luck. He kept sliding his card into the machine, again and again, and each time, declined. People behind him rolled their eyes. "Move already," someone muttered. He just stood there, silent, staring at the machine like it had betrayed him. That's when Nia walked up. She touched his arm gently, offered him a kind smile. "Let me help," she said softly, her English tinged with an accent. He turned to look at her, eyes wide in surprise. His gaze, deep hazel, calm but clouded with something. Sadness, weariness. He looked like a man used to being recognized. But in that moment he just wanted to disappear. He began, but Nia was already digging into her bag. She pulled out her last small bill, a few coins. "It's enough," she whispered, "for a ticket." He stared at her, confused. "You don't even know me." And she simply shrugged. "You look like you need it." They stood there, caught in a strange stillness, as the world buzzed angrily around them. His hand trembled when he finally took the money. "Thank you," he said, voice low, surprisingly refined. She nodded once and turned to leave. No time to waste. She had a meeting to catch. And now, no train fare left to get there. But before she vanished, he called after her. "Wait, what's your name?" She turned a bit startled. "Mia." He smiled gently. "I'm Amir." And then, she disappeared into the crowd. Her heart was racing. She knew she'd have to walk now. But she didn't regret it for a second. There was something about the pain in his eyes. Felt familiar. Too familiar. Amir stood still. Frozen. Holding that small bit of money in his palm like it was worth more than gold. Not because of its value, but because of what it meant. This wasn't just any man. This was Amir Aled, the youngest CEO of Aled Global Holdings, a multinational empire based in Abu Dhabi. His face had graced the covers of magazines. His name, printed on glass towers across continents. But he had come here, disguised, to remind himself what real humanity looked like. And now, because of her, he knew it still existed. Up in the Grand Royal Hotel on the top floor, Amir stood by the tall glass window overlooking the city, still wearing that same gray hoodie. But now it was open, revealing the silk shirt underneath. His phone buzzed again. He didn't answer. Downstairs, his staff was frantic. They had searched all night, terrified something had happened to him. But Amir didn't care. His thoughts, they were still with her. Mia. The girl with the tired eyes and the head held high. The one who gave everything she had. Without expecting anything back, he pulled out a notepad. He had written down every detail he remembered. Her accent, her scarf, the tiny burn mark on the strap of her cloth bag. He was going to find her. Across the city, Nia sat on the cold concrete steps of a shelter. Her bag heavier than ever, full of rejection letters. The job was gone. Again. Her stomach growled. Her legs ached. But most of all, she felt invisible. She thought about the man, Amir. And for a moment, she felt like she had mattered, like someone had seen her. But she shook it off. There was no space for dreams when you're struggling to survive. Back at the hotel, Amir finally made a call. Isef, he said. I need to find someone. Business? Sif asked. No, Amir replied. This is personal. And that right there was the beginning of something that neither of them could have ever seen coming. Nia sat alone at dinner, her tray barely touched. The warmth that had once existed in small smiles and shared stories had cooled. No one sat beside her. Even the women she had once comforted after nightmares now looked through her like she was glass. She clutched the card in her coat pocket like it might burn through the fabric. The weight of it wasn't in its material. It was in what it offered. Door. Question. Voice. That night, as the shelter dimmed to silence and the city outside pulsed with light and indifference, Nia lay awake, staring again at the cracked ceiling. Her thoughts raced in spirals. Trust, betrayal, pride, survival. She turned Amir's card over in her hands. No branding. Just his name and number. Simple. Serious. She didn't know if she believed him. She didn't know if she believed anyone. But she knew this. Nothing changed by staying still. The next morning she packed her bag early, leaving a quiet note on her cot. Gone to try again. Don't lock the door behind me. She found a payphone 2 blocks from the shelter. The receiver felt cold, heavy. He dialed. Rang once. Then again. Hello. His voice, surprised, breathless, hopeful. Nia closed her eyes and said, It's me.